Welcome back. It's been over 2 weeks since I made my last video. The reason for that is focus versus balance. And that's the entire topic of this video today. In these past 2 weeks, I've designed an AI marketing architecture, which is a done-for-you service, which will allow entrepreneurs to send hundreds of thousands, if not millions of emails to their targeted and ideal client. What does that have to do with focus versus balance? So every single day for the past really 3 weeks, I've worked roughly 12 to 14 hours a day, strictly building this AI architecture. Everything from the back end and our private Microsoft licensed servers to the front of our AI personalization and how we are actually going to deploy that for anyone who wants to really grow and scale and future-proof their business. Okay, so this idea of focus versus balance, right? Everybody's like, oh, you have to have balance in your life, work-life balance, blah, blah, blah. It's not real, okay? So there's a time for balance and there's a time for focus. Let me explain. So let's say that we were to go fishing and you're having a conversation with your friend while you're fishing. And all of a sudden, a fish bites. Should you keep talking with your friend or should you focus on reeling in the hook and reeling in the fish? Well, of course, you would focus solely on reeling in the fish. Is it all of a sudden wrong that you're no longer talking and having a good time with your friend? No, of course not. Your friend would understand that you need to be focused on the task at hand. And so the same thing often happens in our life, where we're given a fish or we're given something that at the moment in time, we need to lock our jaws into it and hold on for dear life and do everything we can to make it come to pass, like make it real, make it come to fruition. Yet we live in this society where it's, oh, work-life balance is key. Okay. If you focus so hard on something and end up creating that thing that can create generational wealth for you and your family, was it good and was it better for you to have abandoned everything to build and grow that, for lack of a better term, ark? Well, I mean, look at Noah. I spoke about Noah in the last video. So we look at Noah. Noah had no balance. It was complete focus on building the ark, completing the mission that God had desired for him. Yeah, he missed the parties. Yeah, he missed the marriages. Yeah, he missed the get-togethers. He was solely focused on the mission that God had given him. And you see, oftentimes we feel guilty. We'll feel guilty because some things are falling off when we get too focused, but then we take our eyes off the ball and now we're in this weird middle ground, and then we justify it, or somebody tells us, oh, well, it's good to have work-life balance. You don't have to be such a workaholic. I want to submit something to you. I want to pose something to you. Is it worth it to pour your life into an ark for your family? That's the real question. I'm not talking about a job, okay? If you're working at a job, you're building somebody else's dream, you're not building your own. Because I can almost guarantee the person that you're working for couldn't care less if you get laid off and then you can't pay your energy bill. You're not going to hit them up and they're going to pay your light bill for you. Okay, so I'm not saying that if you have a family business or your friend is starting a business, like they're not going to take care of you. And that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is, are you building an ark? Right? That's the right question. Are you focused on building your ark? Because destruction is coming. Destruction is coming. Whether you believe in pre-trib, post, or mid-trib, post-trib, it doesn't really matter. Destruction is coming. And so whether we are raptured in our lifetime or whether our children are or our grandchildren, we don't know. And God isn't asking us to live as though the rapture is going to come and we don't need to do anything, right? Like this idea of, well, I'm probably going to get raptured because it's the end time, so what? It's asinine. It's incredibly foolish. It is incredibly foolish. A good man lays up an inheritance for his children's children. Okay? I'm going to say something that's going to shock you. There are more good rich people than there are good poor people. I'll say it again. There are more good people who are rich than there are good people who are poor. That one probably stung. Well, guess what? I was in that pool. I was in the pool of the poor. Did I have an inheritance for my children's children? Nope. So how could I even say that I'm a good man? The Old Testament isn't nullified. Not a jot or a tittle will pass away, according to the words of Jesus himself, till the new heaven and new earth. And guess what? I don't think this is the new heaven and the new earth. When you get the inspiration from God, bite down hard and never let go. You see, we live with this background, oh, Jesus is coming, Jesus is coming, Jesus is coming. What if he doesn't come in your time? What if he doesn't come in my time? Then what? You lived 60, 70, maybe 80 years on this earth, and what'd you leave behind? Debt? Enough inheritance for maybe your children? Certainly nothing generational. You see, affluence is good. Being rich is good. Being rich has always been good. Reliance on riches isn't good, but being rich is good. Abraham, was he rich? No. He was very rich. Gold in the land of Havilah. It was bad, right? Oh no. Oh no. Gold is good. Okay? King Solomon, King David, rich, rich. Everyone who has ever been blessed by the Lord has been rich. Because it's in his word. The blessing of the Lord maketh rich. We need, let me reword that for some of you who will get offended at being told what you need to do. It is in our best interest to see God, to see Jesus as a rich man. Because who we look up to is who we will become. And to think that Jesus is somehow poor and that he was poor is asinine. Like, it's so ridiculously foolish, it's hard to comprehend. Jesus, it wasn't 3 men that delivered gold, frankincense, and myrrh. That's not how those times worked. The gifts from a kingdom to a king are equal to the majesty of that king. So you tell me, a king spoken of by the stars, how much majesty is that? How majestic is Jesus? Oh yeah, probably put the Queen of Sheba's tribute to Solomon to shame. Oh, well, Mary, she had to sacrifice 2 turtle doves. That's a sacrifice of the poor. Mary and Joseph weren't rich, but Jesus was. Here's how it works. Let's say that you have a rich uncle, and he puts an inheritance in a trust, and he leaves the entire trust to you, but you're not 18 years old. You're a child when he dies. Can your parents pull from that inheritance? No. No, they cannot. They are to be good stewards of it until you become of age and can go forth and access your inheritance. Okay? Jesus was rich. There's never been a homeless man whose clothes were auctioned off. Okay? You think that his robe just like he knit it, he hand knit it, like he got it from Mary? No. No. The Roman soldiers auctioned off his robe because it was a robe of a king, of a rich man. I'm getting a little preachy. And I'm sure you are not the person who believes that you shouldn't be rich. God has called you to a great life, and you know this. You're the son of the Most High God, or a daughter of the Most High God. You know this. He's calling you to kingship, to queenship, to royalty. Our King, our Father, our God is the richest man in all of existence. He is the existence of the existence. You're his child. You being evil, when your child asks for bread, do you give him a stone? Or if he asks you for a fish, do you give him a snake? A serpent? No, of course not. So then, if you being evil can give good gifts to your children, how much greater can your Father in heaven give to you? Or how much greater will your Father in heaven give to you? We serve the richest man ever, and we are his children. So does a good father want his children rich or poor? Okay, well then that's kind of the end of that conversation, right? We need to stay focused, so much so that people call us crazy. Like, we need to be intolerant. We need to be intolerant to people. We need to be so focused on success, so focused on riches, so focused on what God has for us, that we are intolerant to what other people think, their opinions, their beliefs, because they're irrelevant. If 1 + 1 = 2, do you care if somebody says, no, 1 + 1 = 3? Of course not. Because that's stupid. No, 1 + 1 = 3. No, it doesn't. 1 + 1 = 2. But you're not going to sit there and argue with them. You're going to think that they're absolutely ridiculous and you're going to move on with your life. That's how focused we need to be. Focused on the truth. Because it's all that matters. We will never become the people that we are called to become until we become focused on becoming the I am that God says that I am. Let me say that again. We need to be so focused on becoming the you that you are based on who the existence of the existence says that you are, right? The I am that I am. So focused on becoming that person that nothing else matters. The person you were designed to become. So you can shed the lie identity. You can shed the my identity. You know, all the things that people lied to you. You're stupid. You can't do it. You're too poor. You're ugly. You're short. You're too tall. Whatever it looks like. Whatever it sounds like. Or the my identity. That person that you created in order to fit in. Well, guess what? Those who are at enmity with God, sorry. Friend of the world at enmity with God. You know what being a friend with the world is? It's being balanced. It's being tolerant. You know the single most intolerant religion on planet Earth is being a follower of Christ. I did not come to bring peace but a sword. Father against son, daughter against mother-in-law. Jesus didn't come to bring peace. He came to bring a sword. And yet we're tolerant. We're tolerant of the sodomites and the schizophrenics. Be willing to be so focused that everything else falls out of focus. Be willing to be so focused that you lose everything around you. Because what will be tried by fire, and if it's gold, it will remain. Be so focused on completing your mission here on earth. You're supposed to be rich. You're supposed to please God and serve people. I promise you, when you're pleasing God and serving people, it probably means that you're providing a service or some form of product that's reducing human suffering. And oh yeah, you deserve to be paid for that. Stay focused. Be willing to let everything else go. Except your family, of course. That is what I'll say. Is that I've been so focused, I lost everything else. But I always made time for my little girl. I always made time for my wife. So that's all that matters. Is a family that God has given you. Don't try to save the world. But try to serve the people that God has called you to serve. And be so focused on developing that thing that nothing else matters. And the next thing you know, you're going to be on your ark, floating, when the world falls into destruction and chaos. And you'll say, whether Jesus comes back or not, I'm prepared. For I'm serving my master, who's rich, and I have been made rich through service to him. Much like the servants of King Solomon. They were so rich. The Queen of Sheba, she came down with the vapors. Passed out. Be rich. You can do this. I believe in you. God has called you to a life that's not normal. It's supernatural. And I look forward to seeing you at the top. I pray that you're blessed. I pray that your riches are mighty, that your wealth is without measure, and that your prosperity is generational by the blood and in the mighty name of Jesus. I pray. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. God bless. Bye for now.